Here's a beautiful winged elm tree that I noticed last year was completely overburdened by vines. And so for the past couple of times that I've passed this way, I've tried to remove some of them. I started off with, and it's wrapped on there pretty tight. I started off with my pocket knife, and last time I was here I brought my pruning shears. So don't know if I can get any of that off up there, but I have cut loose all the vines at the base. So it really needs a good pruning. There's some stuff on the back. There's a limb out there close to the ground that needs to be cut off. Probably, which I won't be doing this, but probably one of those three main trunks needs to be cut off. And then you got branches that are crisscrossing. You shouldn't have branches crossing from one side over to the other like that, but I just wanted to sort of relieve its burden, all of those vines up there, and see if we could you know, make it a little happier, make it flourish this spring. Kind of take a look at what the leaves look like in another couple months. So the only reason I haven't got them all cleaned off already is because I'm right here out in the open, and everybody's looking over here saying, what in the world is that dude doing over there on the walking trail to that tree? I'm gonna start pruning. If they don't like it, they can, I guess the people from the Parks and Recreation Department can come out here and stop me, I guess. Well, that's about all I'm going to be able to do to it. I can't get that up there, but hopefully that'll rot off in a year. But I have untwisted, seems like a mile of vines off of all of those branches, so it should have a better chance. Good. I can't wait to see it leaf out. Now, let's get on with our walk. Oh look, it's a top board for fire roll, a container, a knife, a scraper for the ferro rod. We gotta take this. And up here too, I noticed on the way in. Another container for water, what have you, and a solar igniter. If this little guy knew how much I like squirrel stew, fried squirrel and dumplings, squirrel barbecue, he'd be long gone. Oh, he must have heard me. Oh, there's another one. He didn't hear what I had to say. It's always the young ones that get shot first, not as far as the wild ones. These squirrel are socialized to human beings. Tame squirrels, nothing like what you find in the mountains. It's been hunted by hawks and bobcats and everything else, hunters. Hello YouTube, I'm David with the David West channel. Well, today I wanted to show you that another man's trash is my treasure. Found this bottle out on the walking trail today, and we're going to try to get 4 items out of it, 4 uses. We already know it's a container, we don't have to prove that. But I'm going to use the side of this bottle to top board a fire roll. I don't need to tell you how dangerous that is, so don't you try that. Then we'll take and break this bottle and use the bottom right here to scrape a ferro rod, and then we'll use some of the shards to cut some fabric. That's 4 uses out of this one, and 2 uses out of this, of course, is, now I've already washed this upstairs. This was pretty dirty, it needed to be washed, so there is that advantage. But this is a container and a solar igniter. And it's been laying out in the sun for so long, most of the orange in that cap has been bleached out. So when you fill these bottles up with water, a lot of times there'll be the tiniest of bubbles stuck to the inside of that plastic. You want to take and knock those off, make those rise to the top so this can be clear. So we're going to ignite some punkwood with this if we can get the clouds to cooperate in the sky. So let's go ahead and get started. Please check out my fire roll playlist. There's plenty of how-to videos within that playlist. I think I have over 100 videos in it. Oh, didn't mean to put that much on it, but the amount of ashes that you put in a fire roll should be like a 1/4 teaspoon, like a 1/2 teaspoon, but it's not critical. You can put too much, and you can almost put just a tiny little bit. I have had a video, I guess I still have it, where I took the end of a toothpick, dipped it down into some ashes, and just what piled up on the end of that toothpick was enough to get ignition. Now, it wasn't a good ignition. It was ignited, but it wasn't really hot enough to impart enough heat to bring a tinder bundle to flames. Now I'm gonna need some more ashes on there so that the glass bottle can grip the fire roll and drive it. And what you want to do when you have to use a round surface, like I say, I'm not trying to tell you to use a dangerous bottle to fire roll, to top board a fire roll with, but just think of the round limbs out in the woods and all kinds of other round items that you could use to top board. And what I'm going to be trying to do is to wear sort of a groove in the center so that it'll track better. Alright, so it's a fail on top boarding with the beer bottle, but it won't be a fail top boarding with a different round surface. Let's just use my round baton, but look at how crooked it is and all the different waves and valleys and curves that are on it. I still want to show you that a round top board will work. Ignited too. I was going to put it over on top of this one and ignite them both. All right. Now, let's go ahead and break our bottle. And we'll use the bottom to scratch a ferro rod. And we'll look through all those shards and make sure you can see that. And find a good blade to cut some of that washcloth on the table. All right, this is what I came up with. This tip right here is good and sharp, just right on the tip. And here's a good piece where this is where the sidewall of the bottle turned 90 degrees to the bottom. And that is really sharp right there. That's a really good edge. And then I found another good sort of knife edge here. Can you see this little tiny shard sticking up off of this blade right here? If I go gently with this, that little razor blade right there is all I'm going to need to cut that washcloth. Let's go ahead and try it. I want to cut this center section out here of this 100% cotton washcloth. You see how well worn it is. That's the part that I want to cut out and use for fire roll. So we'll carefully use this little knife here. I hope you can see that. You're not going to be able to see it. What if I go this way? Let's go over to our other piece. This real sharp point right here. Not sure how well that showed up, but it cut it. Well, that's not as great as I thought it was going to be, but let's go ahead and use this for a scraper before we do our fabric fire roll. All right, I've tried a couple times with the bottle bottom already, and I think the best thing to do is to have some highly processed pine needles, and instead of trying to one strike ignite it, just shower it with sparks. See if that'll ignite it up. And I'll keep rotating this until I get to a spot that's scraping sparks well. Let's try that again. It all depends on how brittle the glass is. This glass is a lot more brittle than the last brown bottle that I used. Let's try it again. Let's see if that makes a difference right there. One more time. Let's break this again. Try to come up with some good sharp 90-degree edges at least. It helps to have some fresh edges, because every time you scrape that ferro rod, it just breaks those edges off. Good. I'm gonna clean this mess up and we'll go ahead and fire roll this piece of fabric. Nothing's working out today, is it? Sometimes if you put too many ashes on the inside, the roll cannot compact as tightly as it needs to. So I put about 1/3 of the ashes of the failed one that we just did. Oh, it's ignited, okay. I was going to make the roll a little bit smaller and go back and roll it some more. I can't see anything. All I see is glare. That's gonna smolder for a very, very long time. I've got all the time in the world. I might pick some dry leaves up off the ground and use them. These are some dry. White oak leaves. At least we got plenty of sun now to try our Gatorade bottle. Wonder if that's going to go off without a hitch. All right, let's go ahead and impregnate this with ashes. And we'll try to do a solar ignition of ashed tinder. Put my shades on. There's a good big piece right there. There we go, that's a good bright focal point right there. Looks like the wind is going to send it to flames. All right, y'all. So be it. That's the way it goes when you're experimenting, seeing what will work and won't work. I wasn't expecting this many fails, though. So much difficulty. But if it was easy, everybody'd be able to do it. So I'm happy with this day of practice. All right, y'all. Appreciate you joining me on this one. We'll catch you on the next one.